Around 10 years ago, if you had to guess the political leanings of Elon Musk, you'd probably put him somewhere in the centre. He'd donated to both the Democrats and the Republicans, giving money to George W. Bush in 2004 and to Obama and Clinton in 2008. In 2016, he was a Trump skeptic, arguing that it would be embarrassing if Trump won the GOP nomination. By 2024, though, any such reservations around Trump had entirely fizzled away, and it was, quite literally, difficult to separate him from the 45th president. Alongside financially supporting Trump to the tune of around $132 million in the run-up to the 2024 presidential election, there's a valid argument that Musk's social media platform X had become a platform favoured by Republicans. A survey by Pew Research Center in March showed that 53% of Republican supporters thought that it was a platform that was good for democracy. This is roughly 3 times the 17% that answered the same way in 2021. So why then is there another platform, Truth Social, in existence that's owned by Trump that was designed as a direct competitor to X? If both platforms are favoured by Republican supporters, why don't they just work together? Or, in other words, merge? Well, that's exactly what some journalists think is inevitably about to happen. So in this video, we're going to have a look at the foundations of Truth Social, why it exists, and whether, ultimately, it could merge with X. Now, it's important to remember that when Truth Social was founded, X was not what it is today. The ownership, moderation, policy, staffing levels, and even the company name were completely different. Headed by Parag Agrawal, Twitter, as it was then known, had around 8,000 members of staff, many of whom were dedicated to moderation. Presumably, this team had a difficult few years, as they had to make decisions about some, very high-profile instances of rule violations. The most prominent of which was Donald Trump's use of Twitter in and around the time of the January the 6th riots. The Twitter moderation team agreed that after close review of recent tweets from the @RealDonaldTrump account, his account would be permanently suspended due to the risk of further incitement of violence. As a result of this ban, Trump launched a webpage called From the Desk of Donald J. Trump, which was effectively a blog post. It was obvious that the former president was hankering for Twitter. As a billionaire, Trump's solution was to just start his own social media company called Truth Social. After all, this would be better than just posting his thoughts to a random website. And thus, in October 2021, Truth Social was born, and only a few months later was open to the public. In the press release announcing the app, Truth Social made no effort to hide the fact that its existence was a direct result of Trump's ban from Twitter, with them explaining that we live in a world where the Taliban has a huge presence on Twitter, yet your favourite American president has been silenced. This is unacceptable. Around a year later, Musk purchased Twitter and quickly rebranded it to X. He wasted no time in trying to demonstrate that he was serious about making it a free speech platform. He cut the moderation staff from 8,000 to around 1,500 and reinstated many accounts that had previously been banned, notably Donald Trump's. Both platforms seemed to be in alignment, with them wanting to be bastions of free speech with little moderation. Then, over the next few years, relations between the owners of both platforms, Musk and Trump, seemed to get cozier. Relations are now at an all-time high. Trump has been elected 47th president of the US, and as we explained in the intro, has been helped massively by Musk. As a result, Musk has been put in charge, with Vivek Ramaswamy, of the Department of Government Efficiency, or DOGE. Given the close alignment of both men and both social media apps, questions are reasonably being asked about whether they could be merged. To see whether this could happen, it's worth having a look at the relative size of each platform, and who such a merger would benefit. X probably should be worth a lot more, for 2 main reasons. First, it's just a lot bigger. According to SimilarWeb, X has around 70.4 million users. At the same time, Truth Social had only 698,000. Polling similarly demonstrates that X absolutely dwarfs Truth Social. A Pew Research poll found that around 12% of Americans regularly get their news from X, whereas only around 3% get their news from Truth Social. The second reason is that X's advertising strategy is more developed than Truth Social. Truth Social's content moderation is a lot smaller, probably owing to its smaller user base. As a result, Fortune has described it as an alt-tech site. Because of this, advertisers are less willing to engage with Truth Social. The result of both of these factors is that X makes a lot more money. In total, Truth Social made around $2.6 million through the third quarter of this year. X made around $2 billion. However, despite all this, X isn't actually worth more. Truth Social is. Truth Social has a valuation of just over $10 billion, as shares more than quadrupled since September. X is valued at just $9.4 billion. This is, unsurprisingly, linked to Trump's performance in the presidential election. Now, it's worth briefly looking into why this is the case. Part of the explanation here is that it's been treated as a bit of a meme stock, in a similar way that GameStop was. Essentially, people bought the stock as a meme, artificially boosting its value. This happened earlier in the year when Truth Social stock rose to $66 a share. As with GameStop though, Truth Social stock crashed again in September, reaching only $12.15 a share, before rising again hugely recently around the time of the presidential election. And the thing is, this is not only why Truth Social might be worth more, but might be at least one reason why Musk and Trump may merge their social media platforms. As tech journalist Kara Swisher has argued, merging the two platforms could create yet another meme stock, which, with an artificially high stock price, could financially benefit them both. In fact, even if the stock price didn't rise all that much, it could be a way for Musk to funnel money to Trump legally. It should be obvious that any merger between the two companies would benefit Truth Social a lot more, irrespective of the current valuations of both companies. But this sort of is the point. Musk has shown a willingness to try to help Trump out financially, particularly in the election, and this could be an easy way to continue doing so. Sure, Musk would suffer somewhat of a financial hit, but he's not exactly strapped for cash, and this would, quite literally, buy him a huge amount of influence over the next US president. This is just one of many major stories going on, with 2024 marking a major year for both news and elections. In fact, with a majority of the world heading to the polls, 2024 has been a pretty unique and important year. So in the latest issue of our magazine, Too Long, we discussed these elections, diving deep into the 29 biggest elections of the year, making sure you understand what really happened, and commemorating one of the biggest years in news. We don't just discuss elections though, we also run through China's trade issues, Biden's successes and failures, the UK's new opposition leader, and the state of the wars in Ukraine and Gaza. Plus, the fact it's a magazine also means we're not constrained by the time limits or algorithms imposed by YouTube. Unlike fleeting news cycles and algorithmic feeds, Too Long offers thought-provoking analysis and comprehensive coverage that's truly worth holding. Purchasing is also a great way to support the channel. Running TLDR this year has cost just under £800,000. So if you've enjoyed our coverage in 2024, then picking up a copy of Too Long doesn't just get you high-quality reporting, it also allows you to invest in independent journalism and join us in shaping the future of news. If you're convinced, you have 3 more decisions to make. First, do you want a physical or digital copy? The physical is a high-quality 60-page perfect-bound magazine shipped right to your door. The digital is slightly cheaper, especially if shipping is a concern. Your second choice is the standard or premium edition. The standard is just a copy of the magazine, while premium also gets you access to our monthly behind-the-scenes podcast, The Bullpen, where we break down all of the production of Too Long and TLDR more generally, and you'll get your name printed in the thank you section of the magazine. Finally, do you want to subscribe? If you do, you'll get a copy of Too Long every 4 months, meaning you'll never miss an issue. Plus, you'll also get 25% off every copy as long as you stay subscribed. If you can, subscribing also gives us a reliable income stream, which is super useful for us. Regardless of which option you choose, you can buy a copy right now at toolong.news or click the link in the description. Thanks for your support, and thanks for backing Too Long.